Asterisk that is built for setting up many Asterisk servers and sharing the user base. And you can either use DNS to do load balancing or actually have a Camellia proxy in front to do load balancing and make sure that phone calls are handled by a large set of servers and registrations come in. And by using real-time or combinations of real-time and Dundee sysname, you'll make sure that every Asterisk knows where the other phone is. So if you want to call a phone that's registered on Asterisk number 5, you place the call to Asterisk number 5, and Asterisk number 5 plays the call. Because we need to traverse NATs in most of the cases. So we need a proper server to place the call. So there are many solutions here. But doing this, we still use Asterisk accounts for peers. And blinking lamps, if you randomly distribute stuff, will not work. Like Alistair said earlier this morning, this is a problem. We Asterisk scalability. If you want to use call queues, call states, and blinking lamps and stuff, you're limited to one Asterisk. Of course, you can have a second one and do failover with Camellia, but it doesn't really scale. And if you provide PBX hosting, I have customers who have 300 Asterisks running in their server. One per customer. That's not a good solution. It's no fun supporting. We can, of course, look at the real-time hybrid. And there are many configurations out there on the net if you Google and look at Camellia.org and OpenSIPs.org, where you actually have the same database, the real-time database, shared between Camellia and Asterisk. So you have the best of both worlds. But now you have states in too many places in the network. You have registration state in Camellia, and you have registration state in Asterisk, and you have states. And having states all over is expensive and very confusing and doesn't really scale. You want states in one place. So PBX hosting is a very interesting topic here when we want to have multiple companies sharing the same Asterisk instance, possibly over several servers. There has been some additional code with inspiration from Leif Madsen. Years ago, I created something called multi-parking. So you can now have one parking lot per company or per individual. So that's one way of handling, adding functionality. But still, if you're into call queues, and well, we have a problem. So PBXs require device states. We want to know whether a phone is busy or not. And in order to do this, we need to have really one Asterisk server. And you can have spare ones, and you can move out voicemail and conferencing and other things to other servers. But the call states still need to be in one server. So that's the state today. I'm soon going to jump over to describing some of my latest work I need you to test and help me complete. Stuff that didn't make it for reasons unknown into 1.8. But let's look at some real cool stuff first, instead of talking this generic stuff. Let's look at some configurations. Isn't that cool? Okay. Configuring a peer, a SIP peer for the proxy is very simple. Again, use DNS names, and you set a context, and you place calls and receive calls with the peer configuration. Simple. No problem at all. When you receive a call, if you have multiple domains you support, you need to pick out the domain from the URI. In the dial plan, we use the username part of a SIP URI. That's the extension. But if you have multiple domains and you want to know who's calling what, use the SIP domain channel variable to really get the good stuff out. So when sending calls, well, you use the peer, and you dial the phone number at the peer, and we'll end up sending an invite to the peer like that. Now, the missing part here is if you support multiple domains, you won't see that in the invite going out. You can support it going in, but you won't see it going out. So to fix one thing at a time, I created a patch that's part of Asterisk 1.8, have patches for 1.4 and other versions, where you can fix the to header. Because when you place a call, the to header should reflect the original destination of the call. If you have a PSTN gateway, you want the incoming requested phone number to be in the to header. Now, the golden rule here is never ever route SIP calls on the to header. But there are many SIP trunks and many PBXs that support one type of SIP trunks that relies on the to header. So now in Asterisk, with the exclamation mark in the dial string, you can actually set the to header, either just the username part of the URI or the full URI like this. Cool. Now, if you want to have a transparent Asterisk, you're saying that, okay, all the phones, let's say you have Bria or Blink or something, and you want your users to be able to dial on domain, dial email addresses outside of your little world. Then you need to make sure that whatever they dial looks the same on the other side of the PBX. And coming in, you need a from address. If I call one of your users, I call to your Asterisk, and your Asterisk will call your user, and then you need a from address, the caller ID, to be something they can call back. So you need a domain to be there, right? So on the incoming request, you need to catch the SIP domain and get the from URI. You do that by reading the from header or a channel variable. On the outbound request, you need to be able to set the from URI, the full one, with domains. This needs patches for 1.4, but exist within 1.8. I think I wrote something poor there. So here's an example. We get the from URI with SIP-chan info. We set the from domain for the outbound call, and we dial. Now the call that goes out of Asterisk will have the proper SIP URI. If I called, it will be OG Pinana on the other side of Asterisk as well. By default, that won't happen. And when your user is calling out, you will preserve the domain on the invite and in their from header going out on the internet. So, let's move on. Plain prompts. I just couldn't resist copying this picture. Most of these pictures in this section is copied from my training classes. SIP is alphanumeric. So many people in the Asterisk community are so focused on phone numbers, so they create phone numbers even for prompts. If you want to play a prompt that says invalid number, call that extension invalid number. That's making it simple. Now, finally, let's move on to presentation of a few of my crazy name projects. Pine Tree first. This is actually a patch for a situation where you have Camellia in front of Asterisk, and you want to have different codec settings depending on who's calling. And Asterisk can actually handle that, right? But it doesn't by default. With my code, you add a new matching, so you actually check the proxy. The proxy stamps every message saying, I received this from this guy, and I'm forwarding it. So we're checking that header and match on IP. So we now know who sent a message to the proxy before reaching Asterisk. And we can divide that on peers, making the proxy very transparent in your configuration. So that's code I would really want you to test. I had it at one customer site in production for 2 years. So the 1.4 version at least works in their site, but I don't know how you have configured your Asterisk. It might be an issue, then I need to know. I got another project in Portugal where we needed to scale with FreePBX. Now FreePBX use a lot of Asterisk DB. Writes on the hard disk drive. And Asterisk DB in itself has caused many issues, which a guy, I don't see where you are, Stefan. There you are, Stefan. Stefan Schmidt has fixed a lot of timing issues because we had really bad code in there. So we're faster now when handling registrations and subscriptions, And Stefan isn't giving up. He's going to give us much more code fixes here. But we're still saving it in a DB on the same hard disk drive, on the same system we're running Asterisk on. So if that system dies, we're gone. So instead of trying to fix this in FreePBX, because, you know, PHP script code, I went into my good old Asterisk and created a solution where we actually moved ACDB to run over real time. So suddenly, everything that FreePBX saved went into my MySQL cluster where I had failover and I had all scalability I needed. PineFrog is all about voice quality. Asterisk today has a really poor implementation of RTCP. And in PineFrog, I fixed many, many issues. And the cool thing is, I get a real RTCP result set after each call stored in MySQL. We can't store it in the CDR because in many times when you close the media streams, the CDR is already locked. So the whole old idea that I actually created many years ago with the channel variables just doesn't work. Forget about that. What PineFrog also does is during the call, if you enable it, we will send status messages over manager. So if you have poor quality on the call, you can insert some message, you can transfer the call and say it failed, or you can aggregate data per device or per zip trunk and say this zip trunk is so lousy today, so I'm going to use something else. I'm handing over to PRI or GSM or something that works. So you get real-time reports during the call, and you get really good reports after the call. I have a database with 3 million records from calls made in my servers. So it works for me. I really hope it works for you. Pinana. Don't ask me where I get the names from. Pinana is a really cool project that I've been discussing for many years. And recently I got funding from Telekompetanse. Where are you? You're over there, right. To actually create this. I'm working with Brad. Brad, I don't see you either. Oh, you're in the back. He's programming Pinana together with me. We are going to finally handle distributed states. Right. We're going to set up Camelio, then use zip. So every time a call state changes in one asterisk, we're going to publish that and distribute to all asterisks. So any asterisk will have the call state of any phone in your asterisk cluster. Yay!